Jay-Z didn't build a billion-dollar empire by showing up on reality TV. He didn't rely on social media drama or constant public attention. His empire is quiet, controlled, strategic, and that's what makes it almost invisible to the casual fan. While people obsess over celebrity lifestyles, flashy parties, or viral headlines, Jay-Z has been quietly building one of the most diverse and resilient business portfolios in the world. From music to sports agencies, spirits to streaming, he's turned every opportunity into a strategic asset. But here's the key difference between Jay-Z and someone like Kim Kardashian. Kim's empire depends on her being talked about. Every product launch, every post, every public appearance converts attention into revenue. Jay-Z's empire converts infrastructure into wealth. Let's break that down. Early in his career, Jay-Z dominated music. Not because he was constantly trending, but because he controlled his output. He owned his masters, negotiated cleverly, and positioned himself to reap long-term gains rather than chasing short-term hype. That might sound like a small detail, but it's huge. Ownership is leverage. Where attention can fade, ownership compounds. That's why his music catalog alone is worth hundreds of millions. Songs don't stop earning just because people aren't talking about him that week. Then he moved into business. Roc was one of his first big ventures, a clothing brand that grew beyond his own persona, tapping into street culture and fashion trends. He didn't just slap his name on a logo, he made it aspirational but scalable, and eventually sold it for a reported $204 million. Notice the pattern: strategic growth, then monetization, not constant hype. Sports management came next. Roc Nation Sports isn't about celebrity gossip, it's about leveraging influence to manage real assets, contracts, endorsements, and career trajectories of top athletes. Spirits followed: Armand de Brignac's Champagne, Douce Cognac. These aren't just vanity projects. Each brand fills a unique niche in luxury alcohol, backed by smart distribution deals. They generate revenue without Jay-Z needing to constantly sell them personally. And let's not forget his stake in Tidal. Critics mocked the streaming platform at launch, but it gave Jay-Z leverage over his own music and a platform to control distribution and profits, rather than being at the mercy of other streaming services. What all these ventures have in common is one thing: he builds systems that work independently of attention. Unlike fame-dependent empires, Jay-Z's wealth compounds quietly. It doesn't rely on virality, it doesn't peak with trending hashtags. It grows even when he isn't in the news. Now, don't get me wrong, Jay-Z isn't invisible. He uses media strategically, he drops music strategically. But every public move is measured, purposeful, and tied to long-term asset growth. That's the blueprint of a sustainable celebrity empire. It's why he can maintain influence and wealth for decades without burning out. Compare that to someone like Kim Kardashian. Her empire thrives when she's unavoidable. It falters if the public moves on. Her risk is concentrated in attention. Jay-Z's risk is dispersed across assets, industries, and ownership stakes. But there's more. Jay-Z also understands timing. He doesn't launch businesses when they're convenient. He waits until the market is ready or until he can position himself to capture the maximum value. That patience is part of why his ventures feel invisible at first, yet profitable over time. For example, Armand de Brignac isn't just a champagne brand. It's a statement in luxury positioning. It's distributed in a way that maintains scarcity and prestige. Jay-Z isn't chasing headlines. He's creating lasting value. Then there's the bigger picture: investments and equity. Jay-Z has stakes in Uber, real estate projects, venture capital, and more. These aren't tied to his public image. They earn independently. Even if nobody watched a Jay-Z concert tomorrow, these assets still grow. That's wealth insulation. It's fundamentally different from attention-dependent businesses. One fades if culture moves on. The other compounds quietly in the background. And that's why Jay-Z is often called one of the most financially literate celebrities in history. He didn't just capitalize on fame, he converted influence into infrastructure. Influence alone doesn't sustain him. Smart systems do. Now, let's get real. Not every venture succeeds. Even Jay-Z has had setbacks. Not all investments pay off, not every brand launch hits the mark. But because he's diversified, these risks are manageable. Where Kim's empire could wobble if attention fades, Jay-Z's is buffered by multiple revenue streams that operate independently. This is the lesson most people overlook. Fame and wealth are not the same thing. Jay-Z can fade from headlines for months without a ripple in his net worth. Kim, on the other hand, could see the value of attention-driven brands fluctuate wildly with trends, controversies, or social media fatigue. In the 2010s, celebrity brands that relied on hype surged and then collapsed. Jay-Z's businesses, quietly diversified, weathered the same cultural storms. He didn't need the spotlight, he needed the assets. That's why Jay-Z isn't just a musician. He's a case study in wealth strategy. And that strategy is repeatable, teachable, and measurable. He invests, he diversifies, he owns, he waits, he scales. Meanwhile, the public sees only the surface. Albums, awards, iconic moments. The depth of his empire often goes unnoticed. That invisibility is part of the design. Contrast this with Kim. Her every move is visible. Every launch is scrutinized. Her wealth is amplified by attention, but also vulnerable to its volatility. Jay-Z built an empire that could survive attention loss. Kim built one that needs constant attention to thrive. That's the critical difference. And it's why, even with less media noise, Jay-Z's net worth eclipses most attention-based celebrity empires. It's also why he's a blueprint for longevity and wealth. Focus on assets, not hype, ownership over visibility. In the next few years, attention-driven brands will continue to rise and fall. Social media stars will explode and fade. Viral launches will make headlines and then disappear. Jay-Z's model, it will keep quietly generating returns, compounding and diversifying behind the scenes. That's the kind of strategy you can study, learn from, and apply beyond celebrity culture. So, what's the takeaway? Fame can build influence, but infrastructure builds legacy. Jay-Z understood this early. He converted music fame into business infrastructure, leveraged it across industries, and insulated his wealth from cultural trends. And that's why, decades in, he's still at the top. Meanwhile, attention-based empires like Kim Kardashian's succeed as long as attention holds, but remain exposed to shifts in culture, trends, and public focus. Both approaches can build billions, but only one scales quietly, sustainably, and with less risk of collapse. And that, in a nutshell, is why Jay-Z is the ultimate blueprint for celebrity business longevity. If you want more deep dives into how celebrities build real wealth and what you can learn from them, don't forget to subscribe. Comment below. Which model do you prefer? Kim's attention-driven empire or Jay-Z's infrastructure approach? And who should we analyze next?